We are heading into overtime on 1620 The Zone.
Shock the system.
Welcome to the After Hours Lounge on 1620 The Zone, the 1620 The Zone app, and 1620thezone.com. When 6A to 6P isn't enough, the boys have you covered. Here's Jimmy Allen and John Schreiner.
Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome inside the After Hours Lounge, brought to you by Bellevue University. Download the BU Bruins app to your smartphone so you can keep up to date on all the championship action that'll be happening on Bellevue's campus this fall. Jimmy Allen, John Schreiner, Dan Campion with you here tonight. We've got a great show lined up for you this evening. The House settlement and the fallout from it. What does it all mean? We'll break it down at 6:15. And Brian Seeley, who is he? Is he the prince that was promised? We'll discuss at 6:30. We'll buy or sell on several different topics around the NFL and free agency, as well as should Dan Campion be paying Giannis Antetokounmpo money? We'll debate that as well. The NHL Hockey Corner and the NBA Basement is going to be on fire. We're going to do our best to try to stay away from those parts of the lounge tonight because it's going to be hard not to talk about all the excitement going on in the Stanley Cup Finals as well as the NBA Championships. And then Brian Munson from Husker Online and On3 will join us at 7:30. Brian tends to go long-winded, guys. I have a feeling that's going to be the case tonight. There was a ton of stuff going on in Lincoln around Matt Rule's program and the 7-on-7 showcase, as well as 250-plus recruits in Lincoln over the weekend. All of that and more. 402-951-1620 is where you can get a hold of the show. You can also get a hold of the show at After Hours 1620 on Twitter. Don't forget to punch in for the night shift. Leave us a comment on Twitter or YouTube to discuss anything we're talking about. Give us your thoughts tonight. We would love to hear from you. Nebraska has had several guys show up at the top of lists this season, since it is list season currently. Dylan Raiola, famously the number 3 ranked quarterback in the Big Ten, according to On3 and Robin Washut. But 2 of his offensive linemen have recently showed up on top 5 lists as well. Justin Evans at center and Rocco Spindler at guard. And I don't think Spindler is that big of a surprise, obviously, coming from a national championship contender a year ago, coming into Lincoln and already being inserted as a starter and expected to be one of the leaders of this offensive line and for Dylan Raiola, but really surprised to see Justin Evans, a guy that's never played center at this level, show up at number 5 on this list.
Yeah, that was pretty surprising, honestly. And maybe it says more about the state of the center position in the Big Ten than it does about Justin Evans. But we are through the offensive line now, and Nebraska has 2 of its 5 starters or projected starters graded out as top 5 linemen in the conference. That bodes really well for a team that needs to run the ball better than it did the last 2, 5, 7, 15 years.
Right. And when, we talk about all the questions at running back, did they need to go out and get a transfer portal guy? Did they need to go out and get a JUCO guy? Did they need to find somebody else other than Emmett Johnson and Quentin Ives that have a carry to fill into this team this season? It's going to cover up a lot of that. Big holes and a lot of room to run.
Yep.
We've talked about it at nauseum. The fact that just having a home run hitter has been missing out of this offense since Amir Abdullah
at the running back position.
At the running back off,
you had the 1 year of Divine Ozigbo where he broke off some big ones, but that was like half of a season basically.
Yeah, because he was kind of buried on the depth chart for a little while too. Yeah, it's the one thing that Nebraska just hasn't had that off-speed pitch or that changeup or that guy that can come in. Like we've seen it on defense. There's been some guys on defense that can be an eraser for you and an equalizer and change the way the game is perceived or being dictated. They have not had that guy on offense, specifically in the running back position, in a long, long time.
No, and to the other guy, Rocco Spindler, I just find it interesting that, yes, he started a bunch of games for Notre Dame in I think 26 games in his Notre Dame career.
Yeah, that's right.
But he was not the starter for Notre Dame at the start of last season. He lost his job to someone else. And then due to an injury early in the season, he was put back into the starting lineup and anchored that position.
Probably had a lot of reason to do with why he left.
Yeah. So it was interesting to find out that, despite not winning the job at his own team, he's considered a top 5 offensive guard in the Big Ten now. I think that's an amazing turnaround.
Well, he also put in a tremendous amount of work at the end of that season for Notre Dame. That's probably got a little bit to do with it.
I think they said he played like 63 snaps in the national title game or something like that. So, yeah, he's worthy. But it's just the story of it, right? The way careers go. And, you lose your starting spot. then you end up playing in the national championship game, and now you're a top 5 offensive guard in your conference. That's a pretty remarkable turnaround from one season to the next.
We talk about off-season national championships here a lot, and there's been a lot to be excited about that has left a lot of egg on Nebraska's face, right? But the one word that keeps coming up in everything about this team and out of camp and postseason workouts, even from the head coach himself, is intensity. Like they talked about going Thud and Dane Key and those guys saying, no, we want to be full contact. Interesting, right? Because part of the reason that Matt Rhule said that they didn't want to do the spring game is because of injuries and full contact, etc. But it seems like this team has an aggression to it that we haven't seen in the Lincoln in a long, long time.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah, but if that's the case, kind of feels like that's got to start on the offensive line, right?
Yeah, and I think you had a couple of those guys last year, one at the center position, namely, who had that little bit of a mean streak in him, who had that little nastiness, who just wanted to shove people out of the way and wanted to make people fall on their backside. Like,
it's been missing.
And that sort of attitude of like, I'm going to move you out of the way, that's like, for a team that wants to be able to run the ball, you've got to have that at all 5 spots. Like, you just have to have that road grader mentality. And I think a lot of what Nebraska recruited under Frost were more finesse pass protector guys with long arms and long bodies. They were not the traditional road grader. You had Cam Jurgens, who was fantastic. He was the outlier.
Well, hold on. No, because I want to go back on that, because like, it's easy to say that now. But not only did you have that style of offensive line, but you also had a center that was learning to play the position for the first time and struggled for an entire season and a half to kind of get there. Yep. Now, did he end up being great and as a second-round draft pick and end up winning a Super Bowl championship? Yes, absolutely. Yeah. That's not how it started. And it's been a combination of that, right? It's been square peg, round hole from a fit standpoint, but it's also been a group of guys, and this might be an issue with Justin Evans this year, but all accounts say probably not, that there may be some hand-holding or learning along the way, or just when you bring in this many guys from different spots or move them around, a little bit of time to gel may cause some hiccups along the way as well.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's some new pieces that are going to have to get used to playing next to each other, and you know, like offensive line, it has to work as a unit, right? Like, one guy has to know what the other guy is going to do, so he knows where he needs to go to cover the gap and pick up the blitz and all of those things. It's not just as simple. Like,
it should be plug and play. Yeah.
We erroneously think about offensive linemen as brain dead meatheads who just run out there and smash into the other guy.
No, that's just John Schreiner and Dan Campen.
That's not the way it is.
Don't loop me in with this.
It's actually a pretty complicated position to play with, like, reading the fronts and blitz pickups and pass protections and slides.
Learning how to communicate with your guys.
Yeah. So, yeah, you're right on there. Like, this is going to take some time. And out the gate, it might not look like it looks at the end of the year. And we have to be ready for that as fans. Like, if it doesn't look polished at the beginning, well, that's because there's a lot of new pieces in place. It may not look exactly as it's supposed to at the beginning.
A couple months back, Michael Severe was in for you, and we were grading the coaching staff and giving them A through F grades. And I gave Donovan Raiola a C+, and Michael gave him an A because of the development, and he said it was clearly an A. And I hesitated to grade him very high because I think he's done a tremendous job. I don't think there's any debating that, but I don't think we've seen anything even close to what the finished product it looks like or is going to look like. And there's obviously the Micah Mazuka of it all and everything that goes into that. But it's also like I struggle to give anybody higher than a B- where you haven't looked at their group and said, "Yep, that's the finished product and it looks complete." When you bring in a guy who's competing for a national championship, and you're moving a guy to center who's shown some promise but kind of looked out of place at times, and you return what Nebraska's returning, I can't imagine a more finished product of what Donovan Raiola wants his offensive line to look like than what this group is going to look like.
Well, I mean, obviously,
unless you got 5 guys that have just started.
You'd love to have 5 fourth-year starters. That would be like the perfect.
But I'm talking about we look at, and obviously at the time you couldn't look at it any other way, but the injuries to the offensive tackles. But you look at guys like Gunnar Gattua, who's going to be healthy by the time the season starts. You look at a guy like Sam Sledge, who's gotten some reps against the ones.
What can Prohaska give you at this point?
Exactly, but you've got some guys that are coming back with experience and this nice blend of a change too. So I think this is like we talk about what it's going to look like.
He's got a good group.
Yeah,
this group looks like
this group looks like it has the most potential of any of the last three groups.
Well, and if you look at the on-3 rankings, you got 2 offensive linemen in the top 5.
Yeah.
As far as the other positions they've released so far, only Dylan Raiola is in the top 5 in any of the other position groups, and they've gone through quarterback, running back, wide receiver, and offensive lineman and tight end. So got 6 offensive position groups. And Nebraska's got 3 players who grade out in the top 5 at their position. 2 of them are offensive linemen.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Like, barring injury, I find it really hard to believe Isaiah Hunter's not going to be a guy at the top of that list. Like, Dane Key is a guy that probably should be at the top of the list, but there's so many unknowns. You know what I mean? Like, not the top of the list, but definitely in the discussion for top 5s. Nobody's unseating Jeremiah Smith at the top of the wide receiver totem pole in the Big Ten. I don't want to make it sound like that's what I was trying to say, but at least cracking close to that top 5. I think Isaiah Hunter is going to be a guy that's going to open a lot of people's eyes this season. And if Dylan Raiola is able to keep his feet upright and deliver the ball downfield and have some time,
yeah, we
those guys we just talked about
is
definitely going to help.
Yeah, I think there's reason to be optimistic about the offensive line when you see these things. I think that in general, in the past handful of years, Nebraska's offensive line has been adequate to good in pass protection and bad to terrible in run blocking. Like,
well, and we talked about intensity a minute ago, right? And like, if that, like, you can make mistakes in football, but if you do them at 100% and you probably have some good communication along the way,
yeah,
that stuff can be covered up. Like, you can not be the best, you cannot be a top 5 guy, but if you're doing things
if the unit works together,
exactly. And you could, and listen, there's also the Dana Holgorsen part of this too, right? Like, it's a whole nother offseason where a whole offseason with him in full control of this offense. And a lot of people learning that. Heinrich Haarberg moving to tight end. You got some different voices in the quarterback room. What you see against Cincinnati may look completely different than what you see against Michigan. That's only a 4-game stretch.
I couldn't agree more. I feel like there is some work to be done, but I think it's a good enough group that they will figure out. I think this offensive line is going to be like, I don't even want to say surprised. I just think they're going to be good.
I will be surprised if this isn't Donovan Raiola's best group.
Yeah,
I'm just going to be honest
about
that.
I think that they have a lot of potential and the ability to make some things happen on the line.
The athletic director at Alabama thinks that navigating the waters of college athletics has become more difficult since the House settlement. We'll tell you why on the other side of the break. If you missed the opening segment tonight, check it out at soundcloud.com/afterhours1620. It was brought to you by Allo Fiber. Allo goes beyond internet, bringing a fast, reliable speed with an all-fiber network right up to your house. That's right, no more sharing the internet with the neighbors. You don't got to worry about changes to your account either. Anytime you have a question about what's going on at Allo Fiber, head over to allofiber.com. You're going to work with a real-life person right here in Nebraska, 24/7 customer support from your neighbors. Head over to allofiber.com and get out of the Stone Age tonight. The House settlement has kind of been finalized. We'll discuss on the other side of the break. 1620 Zone.
Hey everybody, it's John here for Jerry Ryan Clothing and Sportswear. You know what time it is. It's golf time, ladies and gents. And if you need to get out on the course and you want to look your best, then you need to get to 78th and Dodge and check out the brand new line of Roan golf wear that Jerry Ryan has in stock for you today. You can walk in and touch it with your very own hands and feel how great it feels. Try one on. You will not want to take it off. I promise you, you're just going to walk up to the register with the tag hanging out, scan that baby, and you will walk out with a brand new Roan golf polo. They feel great. They look great. You will feel great, look great, and play great in your new Roan golf wear. If you need golf gear, you need Jerry Ryan Clothing and Sportswear. 78th and Dodge is the place. Jerry Ryan Clothing and Sportswear, dressing Omaha for over 50 years.
Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV News Watch 7.
Partly cloudy, breezy, and pleasant this evening with the temperature around 70. Mostly clear tonight. We should drop back to near 53 for the low. And then mostly sunny and turning much warmer on Tuesday, late day high of 88. I'm Chief Meteorologist Bill Ranby from KETV News Watch 7.
Hello.
Angela, we have to break up.
But why?
Because you're a robot and I'm just a guy trying to get better internet.
It's Allo Fiber, isn't it? I always knew you wanted faster speeds. My contract isn't good enough for you.
Face it, Angela. They let me talk to real people.
Press 4 to break my heart. Oh wait, you already did.
Visit allofiber.com to switch today.
The temperatures are rising outside. Don't let them rise inside. Controlled Comfort is your go-to for all things residential and commercial HVAC. Schedule an appointment today to get your AC checked out before summer gets here. Don't forget to make sure that your filter gets changed too. Head over to controlledcomfort.com and get the details on their annual maintenance plans today.
For all your home and business needs, Control Comfort is here to please. Control Comfort keeps it under control.
When you shop local, you help strengthen our community. So if you need roof repair, gutters, siding, even windows, call local Pyramid Contractors. They're the #1 roofer in Omaha for more than a dozen years. Let Pyramid Contractors come and give you a free estimate. Give them a call at 402-502-9300. That's 402-502-9300. Or visit them online at
PyramidRoof.com. Never settle for less.
Life is unpredictable, with seasonal storms and plumbing issues hiding around every corner. You can't predict the future. So when life happens, go with a trusted, reputable company like Paul Davis Restoration. Fire, water, mold, or storm damage can all be restored by Paul Davis Restoration. Don't live in the aftermath of tragedy. Restore your home today. Call Paul Davis Restoration at 402-553-0373 today.
Did that trash or recycling truck roll by your house without stopping again? Hi, I'm Megan with Papillion Sanitation. At Papillion Sanitation, trash and recycling is our passion. From residential to commercial, we've cleaned up Omaha and surrounding areas for more than 30 years. So if your home or business needs reliable, friendly, trash, or recycle service, check out papillion-sanitation.com today and see how our customer service and professionalism can't be matched. Head over to papillion-sanitation.com to upgrade your trash or recycling service today.
You are listening to After Hours with Jimmy Allen on 1620 The Zone.
Update on the road to Omaha. Don't blink now. The Murray State Racers out to a 2-0 lead in the first. And the winner punched their ticket, the final ticket to be punched to the College World Series. 1620 The Zone, your home of the College World Series, also the home of the After Hours Lounge. We're brought to you by Bellevue University. If you're looking for the ideal college experience this fall, head over to bellevue.edu. Register for classes and become a Bruin tonight. John Schreiner, Dan Campen, and Jimmy Allen with you here tonight. 402-951-1620 to weigh in on anything we're talking about. Don't forget to punch in for the night shift over on Twitter or YouTube. Leave a comment. Say good evening. We'd love to get your thoughts on what is going on in the sporting world tonight. And maybe the biggest news over the weekend, the House settlement. Fallout has become a little bit complete. The triple lawsuit comes down in favor of the former athletes and to the tune of $2.8 billion, facing schools paying previous athletes as well as $21.5 million that'll be allocated towards current athletes as well. Greg Byrne, the athletic director at Alabama, was quoted this weekend by ESPN saying, navigating college athletics is getting a little bit more difficult. He said that I tell coaches and students all the time, the three most significant moments in the history of college athletics are the NCAA Foundation in 1905, the adoption of Title IX in 1972, and this has the opportunity to be the third largest with the House settlement coming down. And we're going to get to who is being appointed the CEO of the College Sports Commission in a minute, but it's really difficult to try to understand what was college athletics 5 years ago, how it's being organized now, and try to have the foresight, if you're an AD, of how you're going to manage this thing 5 years down the road.
Look, it's a changing landscape. Like, we're standing on shifting sands here, and
while trying to hit a moving target,
to know which way to go is going to be it's a shot in the dark. Honestly, like you might take steps in one direction and realize that path leads you nowhere. Like 3, 4, 5 years down the road, you might have started down this dark path and like, we got to turn around because this is getting us into trouble again. Like, and I think that there's a a provision as part of this out there that is going to place the NCAA in trouble again. And it's this NIL clearinghouse that they're setting up where they're going to have to approve NIL deals of over $600. And like, honestly, we've been through this. We've been through this. The first time that an athlete submits an NIL deal to the clearinghouse and the clearinghouse says no, you're back in court.
It's going to happen every
You're
time.
back in court because you're restricting someone's ability to earn. Like, I can't understand.
The only way, we'll kind of combine segments here, I guess, a little bit. The only way that I think that is going to be avoidable is the opt-in for pay for play. Hey, if you're going to be an employee here, and our school is opting in to be an athlete here, we're going to have a revenue stream of $21.5 million or $20.5 million. Then here's the rules. You're going to adhere to the student body. You're going to have a salary cap of X amount of dollars, and your NIL collective is is in this wheelhouse. And if that's not, like, as a student athlete, as an employee, every employee signs a handbook when they started the new job.
Sure.
And I think that's the only way to somehow put the toothpaste back in the tube. But to your point, how many schools is the College Sports Commission going to want to sit in front of a jury, or are they just going to throw money at people until it goes away? Because some places they get sued, they just go, we'll just pay them off so we don't have to deal with it today. And I think that's going to be the biggest challenge, not only for the athletic directors, but for Brian Seeley as well. But the one thing that I think is interesting in the ESPN article where Greg Burns spoke to the Four Letter Network, he mentioned the statement, we don't have sports here to have a sport. And basically saying, we do this to make money.
Yeah.
Like my salary needs to get paid. We do this to make money at this university and for this university. And at Alabama specifically, only 2 of their 24 sports made money in the red. Specifically, women's basketball came in at a loss of $4.2 million. Now, that's in the SEC.
Good thing the football made $60 million.
But that's in the SEC, where it's still kind of a regionally based conference.
Yeah.
Where it's not coast to coast travel, and you don't have to worry about those expenses for softball and volleyball and women's basketball and school and sports that may be losing money. Now in the Big Ten, you have that problem. You've got to go from Rutgers to USC and everywhere in between. Like, with all this information coming out, I'm really concerned about the status of Title IX and how that's going to affect all the other sports, Olympics and women's included.
This was the other thing that concerned me, and I've been expressing this concern since we started talking about the House case. Is that, like, I don't know how it's going to work if you're saying that, like, football players get 80% of the money under the new $20 million rev share. Like,
there's coming.
I understand, and I like the math makes sense to me, and like I am all for it. But there are laws on the books that say equal opportunity has to be adhered to, right? Like, we could also say that, well, okay, football brings in most of the money, so they should have most of the scholarships also. And they have more because their teams are larger, right? But you have to, like, on the back end, those have to be made up in other sports on the women's side, right?
Yeah.
Like, it has to be an equal opportunity. So I don't know how that's going to work, because I know that football teams are going to say, we bring in the most dollars, we should get the most back to give out.
And it's hard to argue.
It's hard to argue that.
Dan Wetzel points out,
until you look at the law.
Yeah, Dan Wetzel points out from ESPN, though, the article we're referencing, that obviously some schools, like Notre Dame, or excuse me, not Notre Dame, Ohio State specifically, has 33 teams. Stanford has 26. Boston College has 29. I think we're going to start to see, which is really funny because this is how the NCAA started. I think we're going to start seeing teams that are sanctioned by the NCAA move to club sports and kind of try to figure this thing out themselves. And when you do that, and here's where the College Sports Commission is going to have their work cut out for them. How do you regulate that? Because there's probably some NIL dollars there for those folks as well.
Maybe if they have a TV contract.
No, and here's what. Sorry, Dan.
You're good.
Outliers like Livy Dunn. If
yes,
you can
but
get
outliers
influence,
like Livy Dunn is going to a school that has a full Division I program. She's not going to a school that has a club sport.
For now. But you're thinking about that in today's modern world, where everything is paid for by the school, and scholarships are the same value across the board, and you don't have a clearinghouse in place of NIL money right now. if somebody's really passionate about Iowa State gymnastics and it becomes a club sport, you don't think there's a donor out there that would go, hey, are we going to be competitive? Is it going to be on social media?
I hear you.
Is there an athlete that has 6.2 million followers that I can put my brand on, even though it's a club sport? You absolutely can. You know why? Because influencers are a thing already anyway, and they don't even play sports. Now, if they happen to, it's a different conversation.
I get it. I understand what you're saying, but imagine because he was in the news this weekend and he was in the state. Imagine you're Trey Taylor.
Yeah.
And Nebraska has offered you a scholarship to come and play football for them. And Colorado School of Mines says, hey, Trey, we got $4 million for you to come play for our flag football team. It's a club sport, though. You think he's going to go do that? No. I don't think so. He's going to go play Division I football.
You made an interesting point here. Do you want to? Sorry, Dan. You made an interesting point. You said TV contracts. Here's what I'm really interested to see over the next 5 to 10 years. How does streaming services change the way we talk about TV dollars? The cord is being cut.
Well, we know
every
that
day.
Netflix is trying to jump in. We know Amazon's already in the boat. Apple TV's in the boat with the MLS package.
Always back to soccer. This guy, I tell you what.
Yeah, every time. So, I mean, I don't know what streaming services are left out there that aren't on board yet.
Right, but I'm talking about when the big boys' contracts come up. Like if the Big Ten, the SEC, and Netflix goes, oh, we've got $60 billion just laying around or whatever they've got. We'd like to throw our name into the hat. Like, how much does that conversation, especially with the NIL stuff and the representation stuff, how much does that change the conversation we're having? Because to me, especially with the opt-in stuff we just talked about and the super leagues that we feel are coming and the 16-team playoff expansion, and it kind of feels like everybody's trying to secede from the union as we speak.
Sure.
I think that conversation becomes really interesting.
The conversation for me, I think, takes a different step because we know that we're always going to see what I would just generally consider your core 4 main sports in the United States of America, like
water polo.
It's exactly like water polo. It's not going to change for those sports. But where I do see the trouble is the sports that in general have the smallest teams yet lose the most amount of money. For example, you might be familiar with her, Cameron Brink. She's going to be a wife pretty soon. Her husband was a rower at Stanford. How much money do you think the Stanford rowing program is making? And yes, it is a Division I sport. Looked it up.
Creighton has a rowing team.
They do. Pretty good.
It's a club rowing team. They are not a Division I sanctioned rowing team, unfortunately. Crew team or whatever you want to call it. But to transport those boats into those athletes into the competitions that Stanford is the level of trying to get people into, it is not cheap. That would be one of the things that you would see that probably would become a, what do you call it? A club rowing
sport
program.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's a little bit too off the beaten track for me. I mean, I feel like gymnastics is one of those that it'll kind of stick where it's at currently, maybe get a little bit more money thrown at it to keep their, ever so slight TV deals that they have with ESPN rolling. But I don't think we're going to see truly that much change from a TV side of things and how NIL is divvied up and doled out as like a general practice right now. The thing that's going to get interesting, and we're going to talk about it next segment, is the Celia of it all.
Yeah.
Because some of those comments in the article that you sent me today, Jimmy, made my blood boil a little bit.
Me too.
And it made me think, all right, this will be interesting. But to John's point from earlier, football is going to vie for the most money. Basketball is definitely going to vie for the second. And then, unfortunately for your schools, it's going to be a, what have you done for me lately? Where are the championship numbers at?
Text from the 402 came in, and I would be remiss if I didn't read this. And it's a great point. They said, Livy Dunn is the outlier for sure. That's a once in a lifetime athlete in a sport that probably will never see anything the likes of that again. And I could not disagree more, by the way. I think you're seeing
a once in a lifetime athlete. Who is this person?
I think it's more of
she's a tiny hot blonde woman.
Well, no,
she won one NCAA championship.
I think they mean from a marketing standpoint, not necessarily an athletic standpoint. But yeah, I mean, listen, that could be the case, or she could be a trendsetter. We'll see. The czar of college athletics has been named, and we're going to tell you who that is on the other side of the break. We're going to unpack a lot of that article that Dan just referenced as well. Don't forget to punch in for the night shift on social media or on YouTube, where we'll get to your comments on the other side of the break as well. It's the After Hours Lounge, 1620 Zone.
Hey, everybody, John Schreiner here telling you that kids do dumb things. Big news, breaking here at the After Hours Lounge. You already knew that, especially if you have kids who live at your house. And if you have one of those kids who's done a dumb thing, well, get Bob Williams in your corner because the court date is probably rapidly approaching. Look, kids make mistakes. This doesn't have to chase them around for the rest of their life. And if you have good legal representation, you don't have to let that happen. Get with Bob at Williams Law. He's going to sit you down for your first meeting. You don't have to pay him for that one. And he's going to explain your rights, look through the situation, and help you get ready for the big day in court. That's a free, no-obligation legal consultation from a professional lawyer with experience. You want experience? Bob's got experience. Check out WilliamsLawLLC.com.
Look, your Philly's lonely. Your burrito, begging for backup. Your rice bowl needs a hype crew. Enter Pepper Jack's new sides, gooey cheese curds, crispy onion rings, and jalapeno poppers with just the right kick. It's the flavor squad your meal's been dreaming of. Because let's be real, you deserve a little deep fried joy. Pepper Jack's. Grill loud, snack louder.
Pepper Jack's Grill. Famous Phillies are so much more. Pepper Jack's Grill.
24/7 threat monitoring, expert tech support, streamlined communications. Allo has a solution for that. Protect your business with Allo Business. Comprehensive firewall security, Microsoft Teams voice-integrated communications, cybersecurity and IT support managed by experts. From productivity to peace of mind, Allo has a solution for that. Allo means business. Protect your business by visiting allofiber.com/business.
Ready to make a positive impact in a young boy's life? Join Big Brothers Big Sisters of the Midlands and become a mentor where you are matched up with a boy in the greater Omaha area. Over 50 boys are waiting for someone like you to guide and inspire them. Visit mentoromaha.org and sign up to make a difference in a boy's life. Don't wait. Make a lasting impact today.
Did you know that Bellevue University is making a major investment in its athletic programs with a new $25 million athletic center? This state-of-the-art facility will feature multiple practice and competition courts, a modern 6,800 square foot sports performance and fitness center, an advanced golf simulator, and a new lounge area for our student athletes. The athletic center will open in early 2025. Come see the future of Bruin athletics. Schedule a tour, meet with other athletes, and explore Bellevue University for yourself. Visit BUBruins.com.
It's golf season, and Jerry Ryan is your one-stop shop to get out on the links this summer. With options from Johnny O, Roan, Peter Millar, and Mizzen and Main, you'll be the sharpest dressed guy in your foursome. Stop in and let John, Dan, Jake, Deanne, and Monier the Tailor get you ready for the golf outing circuit or your big wedding this summer.
At Jerry Ryan's, we bring out the best in you.
Hy-Vee turns 95 this year, and Chesterman Coca-Cola is giving you the best prices on all your favorite Coke products now through the end of May. Powerade 20-ounce 8-packs are just $5.99. Coke 12-pack flavors like Pib, Fresca, and Fanta are also just $5.99 starting May 12th through the summer. And Coke 1.25 liters are just $3 for $5. Catch some baseball, wish Hy-Vee a happy birthday, and drink your favorite Coke products to celebrate.
You're listening to After Hours with Jimmy Allen on 1620 The Zone.
.635 on a Monday night edition of the After Hours Lounge, brought to you by Bellevue University. Download the BU Bruins app to your smartphone to keep up to date on all of Bellevue's athletic ongoings on their campus. Check out bellevue.edu to register for classes this fall as well. Reading some comments from all of you in the night shift. Thank you to everybody for punching in tonight.
Shout out Hammer.
Yeah, thanks John for his comments about the Colorado Mines being mentioned. But we'd love to hear your thoughts as well. Theo weighs in, giving us a salute and let us know that we are the GOAT, and I agree absolutely. Thank you very much for all your comments. Feel free to weigh in on anything we're discussing on the show tonight on Twitter or on YouTube or at 1620thezone.com or zonetv.com as well. We mentioned it. The head of the College Sports Commission has been named. Who is he? He is Brian Seeley. He's a 46-year-old who was previously the head of investigations for Major League Baseball.
Rules guy.
I thought this was a home run hire. For all of the expectations I was expecting this person to have, he also comes in not only with the MLB experience, but a Harvard Law degree and 8 years with the U.S. Department of Justice. And he's 46.
He should know how to navigate the law.
Not even that, but he's also not stuck in an era or coming from an era or used to an era that there weren't changes. He's of the right generation where changes in college athletics have just been so prevalent and ever happening that he should be with his finger on the pulse. And he referred to himself, and Dan, the article that you had mentioned from The Athletic, as a lifelong college athletics fan. And I think that, I think a lot of people would go, well, duh.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's something that was probably a requirement for this position. But I think that's really important, that he's probably been keeping up with things going on with college athletics for the better part of his adult life. And if you understand the law, you can. How many times do we say when Bob's not in here, oh, we're a fan of this, we wish we had some descriptions of a legal mind that could give us some representation here. I think it's a huge, huge deal for him to be able to probably have a little bit of an understanding of what's been going on with this case or how it's affecting college athletics,
right?
Maybe even to some degree his favorite teams. But being a fan while also help navigating the rules, I think is going to do a lot for college athletics, as opposed to just going out and getting a really smart guy that understands the law.
Well, what it signaled to me was that this commission is going to be really interested in looking at and enforcing the rules around the rev share.
Yeah.
They're going to be really, really.
And the clearinghouse, by the way.
Well, I think primarily, I think the clearinghouse is going away. I think they're going to get sued into oblivion on the clearinghouse, but that's a different matter. Because of his involvement with the investigations in Major League Baseball around, salary cap circumvention and all those things, I think this is a sign that the commission is saying, we're serious about this. We've got a guy who knows how to catch you if you're trying to cheat the system, and he's going to do the work and find out how you're getting around it.
That is the one thing that I legitimately hate, because there's no circumvention of a salary cap within the MLB because they have no salary cap. There's no such thing as a cap on salary. They don't have a hard cap limit. He's going to have to learn how to deal with a hard cap limit.
There's regulations to follow, though.
You can't just be like, hey, Shohei, we're going to pay $1 billion.
Which is exactly where the clearance house comes in at as well, and evaluating real life. Yeah. Listen, they're going to try to say college athletes are worth X amount of dollars. The problem is, and I think he's going to be his biggest deterrent, is if everything's going the direction it's going, these aren't going to be college athletes. These are going to be employees of the school.
Yeah.
So that's going to be his biggest hurdle to get over. The one thing that when I read it, I literally cringed. He's going to report to the conference commissioners.
Yeah.
And listen, I know you need
Fox
checks.
guarding the hen house much?
I know you need. I know.
Correct, Slanky. You want $1 million underneath the table?
I know you need checks and balances, and I understand that. But this does not feel like the right pecking order.
Do the conference commissioners have hiring and firing power for this position? That's what I want.
I would assume not, to the sense where it probably have to be voted on and probably unanimously, because he's going to have to probably punish Auburn and Michigan
yeah.
and some of the pretty powerful heads of the table. And that's obviously not going to be reflected, especially if it's going to cause some seats in playoffs.
Yeah, it's and Dan, to explain further, yes, MLB does not have a salary cap, but they do have salary cap rules around amateur talent acquisition. So that's what he's talking about there.
He had to oversee the minor league stuff like that.
So,
Hold on. So are you talking? I know the whole like you can't pay like certain people who are coming into the league a specific amount of dollars,
Yeah.
specifically from foreign countries.
Yes.
Because it's seen as like improper benefit.
Yes.
Kind of rule there. The whole clearinghouse issue, though, that's the one thing that I'm still a little bit unclear on if you can clear that up, because I had to go through the NCAA clearinghouse at a Division II school if I wanted to play golf for them.
Sure.
I went through said clearinghouse to prove that I was an amateur athlete.
This is an NIL clearinghouse.
Yeah, this is for money exactly.
Any NIL deal that's over $600 will have to pass through this new clearinghouse so that they can determine its validity.
Good job, Livy Dunn, getting out of college just in time.
Yeah, but that's essentially what it is. Is they don't want NIL to be pay for play.
They want to stop the car dealership paying a guy $1,000 a month, and he never appears in any of their marketing material or does any promotional things. It's just they're paying him to be there at the school, and he doesn't actually use the name, image, and likeness for any benefit to the business. That's what they're trying to stop.
And I know you've brought this up, but the problem is if I pay for your name, image, and likeness,
I can do with it whatever I want.
can do whatever I want with it, and
or nothing.
And what I'm willing to pay in any other sense of life
is up to me.
Is an uncapped market.
Yep.
It's whatever the highest bidder is willing to pay. Now, I think like I said, I think you're going to have to look at making these people employees, and they're going to have to okay, if you want X amount of dollars from us, well, you're going to have to agree that you're only going to accept X amount of dollars from outside parties. Which, if you're an employee somewhere and you work at Burger King, and they say, okay, well, you can go work at Subway's because you're still making sandwiches, but a different job. You can only make X amount of dollars, or you don't work here anymore. They're perfectly within their rights to do that.
No, they're not. Absolutely not. If you work at Burger King and you have a second job at Subway,
I guess in Nebraska,
Burger King cannot tell you
state.
can't make more than $10 an hour. They absolutely cannot do that. Nowhere in the country can they do that.
So
Nebraska's a free work state. You can get fired for anything in the state.
You can, yeah. They can fire you if they find out you're working at Subway. They can certainly do that, but they cannot tell you that, yeah, go ahead and work at Subway, but don't make more there than you're making here. You can't do that. Like they will. That is not allowed. That is not legal.
Okay, so with these new rules that are in place, I am going to bring this back to Livy Dunn because I am probably the most familiar with her NIL situation individually.
Why is that, Dan?
Because I constantly
Big Paul
see
Skeens
her.
fan.
Why'd I ask?
Yeah, mustaches, giant letter P.
All right,
come
Dan,
on,
go ahead.
Go Pirates. No, but like on a serious note, I am being like 100% serious about this. So she does all of the energy drink stuff, and then she also has an NIL deal within LSU. Is she not allowed then to say have an energy drink sponsor that she goes out and independently of her athletic prowess goes out and gets as a student athlete?
She can still do that.
She has a Hollister deal.
But how much
she can't go out and do that now?
That's not the problem. How much money that company can pay you is where the issue comes in at.
So even if it's not negotiated for anything to do with your athletic career,
correct,
that still while you are in college, if it was like, hey, Dan Campanen, you're super hot and you look good with your shirt off.
You sure do.
We're going to put you in a Hollister campaign and we're going to pay you money for said Hollister campaign.
Yes.
But you're also a basketball player at Coastal Carolina University.
Welcome, Chanticleers.
Yes.
To Omaha.
Had to pick one out of the mini group that we have coming.
7 out of 8.
They would they would literally have to say, all right, but now this deal has to be investigated by the NCAA.
Yes.
Because it's over $600.
Yes. Correct. If it's $600
Even though
and
it
one
has
penny,
nothing to do with me playing
Yes.
round ball.
Now you're seeing where the problem comes in at, because
oh my god,
here's the problem is they're purchasing the name, image, and likeness of Olivia Dunn. They're not purchasing the name, image, and likeness of gymnastics star number 3 on LSU's roster.
Right.
So
there's no roster guard like NBA 95.
But this is why I bring it back up to bring it back to football for a second, because that was essentially the reason that the NCAA football game was allowed to navigate under the parameters it was back before 2014, it's Sam Keller stuck his big nose into the equation.
Yeah.
Is okay. Well, it's the likeness, but it's not the name or the image of said person.
Yeah.
So it's really incredible. And I bring this back up every time is what prevents the biology major from doing this? And
Nothing.
the answer is absolutely nothing. So how, listen, the clearinghouse, the College Sports Commission, and Brian Seeley himself.
He's got his work cut out.
He's a very smart guy. He's a Harvard graduate. He's been dealing with athletes for a long time. This is a lot of moving parts. And they were able to get the football game done, and I didn't think that was going to be a possibility because of all this. I'm with you. I don't think they're going to be able to figure out this clearinghouse thing. But listen, there's smarter people in the room than me for a reason. The opt-in is the only thing I can figure out that's going to be the fix.
And if then you're telling athletes that you can play for us, but you have to sign this contract that says any money you make away from the athletic field, you're going to submit it to this clearinghouse. Well, that's going to get challenged in court too. That contract is going to get challenged. This whole thing is not done. We are far from done with all of this.
And I think the most important part to point out is the Supreme Court of the United States didn't say, oh, no, you have to start paying athletes now. They said what you've been doing for over 100 years is illegal.
Yeah.
And that's the reason you're seeing this $2.8 billion lawsuit starting to be paid out at the beginning of the month.
Yep.
Because it's not even that you can't do it. It's that what you've been doing this entire time is not only just frowned upon, but there's a giant paycheck being sent out to all these former athletes because this should have been fixed a long, long time ago.
Shout out Ed O'Bannon.
Now, Brian Seeley's going to have to not only fix everything we just talked about, but navigate everything moving forward as well.
Right.
So I don't know how much he's getting paid because his official start date hasn't even been determined yet either. But he probably should have started about 7 years ago, and it better be a lot of money.
What it looks like to me is the NCAA was driving 75 in a 45, and they got a ticket, and now they're like, what if we slow down to 60?
You're still in trouble, and it's still going to cost you some money. Hey, it's the After Hours Lounge. If you missed any of this segment, check it out at soundcloud.com/afterhours1620. It was brought to you by Controlled Comfort Heating and Air. It's fall. No, it's not. It's summer.
It's summer.
And temperatures not falling. They're rising. And if it's rising outside, you don't want it to be rising inside. Head over to ControlledComfort.com. Set up a maintenance appointment. Let Steven and the team come out, take a look at your AC unit. They're also going to make sure that your HVAC has been not had too harsh of a toll over the colder months as well. Make sure you have peace of mind about your furnace for the fall as well. Check out ControlledComfort.com. Get peace of mind about your AC this summer. Check out ControlledComfort.com tonight. We'll be right back. Dan Campion is going to tell us what's trending on social media when we come back. 1620 The Zone.
Hey, everybody, John here for Paul Davis Restoration. Storms are coming. They're just around the corner. A little cloudy tonight, a little hazy. Don't know if there's much rain in the forecast, but you can bet your bottom dollar that there will be thunderstorms just around the corner. And if you get some damage from those thunderstorms, maybe some water in your basement, you're hitting a little dampness down there, you got some mold concerns, Paul Davis can help you out with all of that. Just give them a call at 402-553-0373. They'll come out, check out your situation, make the appropriate recommendations, and get you fixed up to the way it was before the damage happens. If you've got water damage, you need Paul Davis Restoration. 402-553-0373. That's the number for Paul Davis Restoration.
The temperatures are rising outside. Don't let them rise inside. Controlled Comfort is your go-to for all things residential and commercial HVAC. Schedule an appointment today to get your AC checked out before summer gets here. Don't forget to make sure that your filter gets changed too. Head over to ControlledComfort.com and get the details on their annual maintenance plans today.
For all your home and business needs, Control Comfort is here to please. Control Comfort keeps it under control.
Did you know that Bellevue University is making a major investment in its athletic programs with a new $25 million athletic center? This state-of-the-art facility will feature multiple practice and competition courts, a modern 6,800 square foot sports performance and fitness center, an advanced golf simulator, and a new lounge area for our student athletes. The athletic center will open in early 2025. Come see the future of Bruin Athletics. Schedule a tour, meet with other athletes, and explore Bellevue University for yourself. Visit BUBruins.com.
When you shop local, you help strengthen our community. So if you need roof repair, gutters, siding, even windows, call local Pyramid Contractors. They're the #1 roofer in Omaha for more than a dozen years. Let Pyramid Contractors come and give you a free estimate. Give them a call at 402-502-9300. That's 402-502-9300. Or visit them online at
PyramidRoof.com. Never settle for less.
Life is unpredictable. With seasonal storms and plumbing issues hiding around every corner, you can't predict the future. So when life happens, go with the trusted, reputable company like Paul Davis Restoration. Fire, water, mold, or storm damage can all be restored by Paul Davis Restoration. Don't live in the aftermath of tragedy. Restore your home today. Call Paul Davis Restoration at 402-553-0373 today.
There's never been a better time to choose a new career path than right now. Hi, I'm Tracy with Papillion Sanitation. If you're at a point in your life where you want a career, not a job, Papillion Sanitation is the place for you. From 401k options to opportunities for career advancement, come make Papillion Sanitation your future. Check out papillion-sanitation.com today to apply and make a change for the better. Papillion Sanitation, equal opportunity employer.
Howdy, Greg Wagner joining you from the Nebraska Game and Parks Commission. Time now for another Nebraska Outdoor Update. 'Tis the season to be weather aware, so when you're camping at a state park or recreation area, even though you have your phone with you, it's a good idea to know where you are from the nearest town for weather watches and warnings, and also to know what county you're in. Plus, it's best to have a severe weather plan in place before the skies turn stormy. It's all part of being safe at the start. Have some interesting numbers of nature to pass along. Did you know that Nebraska has more than 400 species of birds, more than 90 species of mammals, more than 100 species of fish, more than 60 species of reptiles and amphibians? And this isn't including all the insects, the plants, and the other wildlife. And you thought Nebraska's nature scene wasn't very exciting. Ha! I'm Greg Wagner with the Nebraska Game and Parks Commission saying, we'll see you outside.
Criminal, civil, personal. If you or a loved one is facing a lawsuit, let Williams Law represent you and your family today. With more than 20 years litigation experience in Nebraska, Williams Law will defend you with the dedication you deserve. If you're facing a DUI or if your son or daughter has been accused of a crime, Williams Law is here for you. Call 402-522-6317 to get a free, no-obligation consultation and to get the representation you deserve today.
Now back to After Hours with Jimmy Allen on 1620 The Zone.
.653 on our Monday night edition of the After Hours Lounge, brought to you by Bellevue University. Head over to bellevue.edu, register for classes, and become a Bruin this fall. Time to catch up with Disco Danny Dynamite. Dan Campinen back in his rightful place.
Indeed, I am. And you know who else is going to be back in their rightful place? A lot of baseball players. But we, personally, I believe we've had him in studio before. Get to hear from one
twice.
personally. There will indeed be a sleepover at Cam Kozel's house. The Arkansas freshman is coming home, baby. Going to play right in front of the crowds that he knows and loves oh so well. His fellow Omahans here in the great, rest in peace. I almost said Johnny Rosenblatt Stadium.
Almost.
In the Schwab.
Yeah, very cool moment for Cam, obviously. And when he was a couple times he came in here, we talked about his commitment to Vanderbilt and why he was going there, and obviously changes his direction, pivots to play for Dave Van Horn in Arkansas, and hits a home run against Creighton and gets obviously one of his biggest moments of this tournament. But really happy for him and all these kids that we talk about all the time. Oh, why are they leaving the state? Why can't they go to Creighton? Why can't they go to Nebraska? Why can't they stay home? Moments like this where they get the opportunity to fight to come back to their hometown, their home city is pretty cool.
Yeah, and why don't they go to Creighton or Nebraska? Because Arkansas makes the College World Series almost every
Fair
year.
enough. Fair
I mean,
enough.
Let's just put it where it is. He's a tremendous baseball player, and it's really cool that he gets to come back and play in front of the hometown fans. And a lot of people watched him play football on Friday nights. Yours truly.
Yeah, and obviously one of the best athletes this state has seen over the last 5 to 10 years. And listen, I think we had him in here twice, Dan. The couple times that he was in here, nothing but a constant pro and was very, very well spoken and a very respectable young man. So congratulations to Cam, obviously Dave Van Horn, the rest of the Arkansas Razorbacks on their quest back to Omaha. If that sleepover does happen, I want to see pictures of them all crammed into the house because I think that'd be hilarious. So, Cam, if you can, throw it up on your social media. You still follow the show. Maybe you still listen. Hopefully you're listening right now. We'd love to hear from you. But if you missed the social media, go ahead, Dan.
I was going to say, we're probably going to get – I really hope. I always cross my fingers for this because it's like the same thing that happened when the Pittsburgh Steelers went to Detroit to play in the Super Bowl.
People forget.
And Jerome Bettis' mom was like, well, I'm going to cook for the whole team, Jerome, so you better invite all of them over. Better invite everybody over to the house. They had the folding tables all set up and ready to go. Mama Kozel, Papa Kozel.
Cam Kozel, Jerome
have some good
Jerome
dinner.
Bettis. Handshake meme. There
Handshake
you go.
meme.
If you missed the social media soundbite tonight, check it out at soundcloud.com/afterhours1620. It was brought to you by our friends at Pixel Fire Marketing. Is your company not showing up at the top of search engine optimization? Do you not have a website? Pixelfiremarketing.com is here to help. Their social media experts will ignite your social media presence, entice your ideal client, and engage your brand online. Check out pixelfiremarketing.com for more details today. We come back on the other side of the break. We're doing buy or sell. We're going to talk about a ton of different stuff, including the Yankees getting some revenge. Man, 1620 The Zone.
How was I to know?
Look, your Philly's lonely. Your burrito begging for backup. Your rice bowl needs a hype crew. Enter Pepper Jack's new sides, gooey cheese curds, crispy onion rings, and jalapeno poppers with just the right kick. It's the flavor squad your meal's been dreaming of. Because let's be real, you deserve a little deep fried joy. Pepper Jack's. Grill loud, snack louder.
Pepper Jacks Grill. Famous Phillies are so much more. Pepper Jacks Grill.
Did you know that Bellevue University is making a major investment in its athletic programs with a new $25 million athletic center? This state-of-the-art facility will feature multiple practice and competition courts, a modern 6,800 square foot sports performance and fitness center, an advanced golf simulator, and a new lounge area for our student athletes. The athletic center will open in early 2025. Come see the future of Bruin Athletics. Schedule a tour, meet with other athletes, and explore Bellevue University for yourself. Visit BUBruins.com.
When you shop local, you help strengthen our community. So if you need roof repair, gutters, siding, even windows, call Local Pyramid Contractors. They're the #1 roofer in Omaha for more than a dozen years. Let Pyramid Contractors come and give you a free estimate. Give them a call at 402-502-9300. That's 402-502-9300. Or visit them online at
PyramidRoof.com. Never settle for less.
It's golf season, and Jerry Ryan is your one-stop shop to get out on the links this summer. With options from Johnny O, Roan, Peter Millar, and Mizzen and Main, you'll be the sharpest dressed guy in your foursome. Stop in and let John, Dan, Jake, Deanne, and Monir the Tailor get you ready for the golf outing circuit or your big wedding this summer.
At Jerry Ryan's, we bring out the best in you.
Criminal, civil, personal. If you or a loved one is facing a lawsuit, let Williams Law represent you and your family today. With more than 20 years litigation experience in Nebraska, Williams Law will defend you with the dedication you deserve. If you're facing a DUI or if your son or daughter has been accused of a crime, Williams Law is here for you. Call 402-522-6317 to get a free, no-obligation consultation and to get the representation you deserve today.
Hy-Vee turns 95 this year, and Chesterman Coca-Cola is giving you the best prices on all your favorite Coke products now through the end of May. Powerade 20-ounce 8-packs are just $5.99. Coke 12-pack flavors like Pib, Fresca, and Fanta are also just $5.99 starting May 12th through the summer. And Coke 1.25 liters are just $3 for $5. Catch some baseball, wish Hy-Vee a happy birthday, and drink your favorite Coke products to celebrate.
KOZ and Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620, The Zone.
Exactly the top of the hour here on 1620 The Zone, brought to you by Pyramid Contractors. You don't become number one in Omaha for over a decade by accident. If Pyramid Roof has ever worked on your house, whether it be your roof, your windows, your gutters, your siding, please go over to pyramidroof.com tonight and vote for them to be number one in Omaha yet again this year. It's time to buy or sell with Dan Campen. Dan, what do you got for us?
Well, I would like to really quickly just congratulate the three of us on actually hitting the top of the hour for once.
Let's go.
And not
We
playing
haven't even
the
skipped a segment yet.
station legal ID at 7:10.
Stuff being the best. Somebody's got to do it.
We did it, guys. Hunter Dobbins from Texas Tech fame and also pitcher for the Boston Red Sox has dove headfirst into the Red Sox-Yankees rivalry, saying, "I would have retired if the Yankees were the only team to offer me a contract." Aaron Judge responded with a home run off the first pitch he saw from Dobbins. Ball, 436 feet. Judge claims he never heard the quote, but buy or sell, we believe the Yankees captain wasn't aware of this.
He was 100% aware of this. Listen, you don't live in the New York bubble when the Red Sox are coming to town without getting some sort of implication about what has happened on the other side of the media. Aaron Judge swung that bat like he had nothing to lose on the very first pitch. Yeah, that was payback and receipts sent to the other side of the Red Monster.
I don't know. The way Aaron Judge is hitting the ball, he might not have cared what anyone else is saying. He might just be locked in. But I don't
Could be
believe
both.
it. I don't believe it. If there's any two teams that know exactly what the other one is saying about them, it's these two. I don't believe it.
Yeah, not even for a second.
Yeah, I watched a little sports documentary when I was home alone this weekend about the New York Yankees through like the early 2000s, and just how tied in the New York sports radio stations and New York sports media and the Yes Network are tied into that team and the kind of access that they get. This is the kind of quote that makes it immediately back to everyone in that Yankees clubhouse. And they say, well, we're going to screw them over. Let's do this.
What else we got, Dan?
Former Huskers tight end coach Vince Morrow is set to become the new general manager of the Louisville football program.
Yes, he is.
Buy or sell, the longtime Kentucky assistant is making the right move.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting. I mean, a guy that's been on the sidelines for a really long time, and when he was here was the ace recruiter in Lincoln. I think it's a great move. I think it's a way to keep him in the loop from a recruiting standpoint. If you're in bringing in some eyes from the enemy across the state as well, not a bad look. I think this is a great move by Jeff Brom and his staff.
Well, look, I mean, at a certain point as a coach, like the energy starts to fade, right? And Vince isn't getting any younger.
Fair
so
enough.
If the grind of being on the sidelines every day and being out on the recruiting trail gets to be too much, and you're good at managing players and getting them in the fold, like GM for a college team is a very logical step.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of guys that are of Vince Morrow's fold, the guy that is
longtime assistant,
but is also the guy that's got contacts that you can bring a 17-year-old to a room and maybe make a phone call to a former NFL running back that won a bunch of Super Bowls in Dallas that everybody knows we're number 22 to get a couple people to recruit or to commit to your school. I'm sure that probably never happened under Vince Morrow.
No, probably not.
It may find themselves in roles like this down the road.
And I'm just going to buy because it's the right move. Louisville is a college football program that is always on the rise and is kind of always in the ebb and never really is always in the flow and never really in the ebb, just in general. So, I mean, if this is the career move that he wants to make, he made it at the right school.
Dan?
Giannis, lots of vowels, has been seen today in Rio de Janeiro falling on his rear end. The Milwaukee Bucks are possibly trading the Greek Freak this offseason, and if he had been injured, could have seriously jeopardized that trade. Buy or sell franchises should be able to recoup financial damages if their stars get hurt.
Antetokounmpo is his last name, by the way. I think this is probably.
I know how to pronounce it, by the way.
I think this is.
I had a guy from Milwaukee give me a bunch of crap for it for a year and a half.
I think this is something we start seeing put into luxury clauses. If you're hitting the luxury cap and you're the reason for it, and we start seeing like these numbers there's got to eventually be enough is enough in sports. And for the LeBrons, the Giannis's, the guys that are driving the top dollar, if they get injured, that is such a hit financially to these teams, especially if it's something like this. So Giannis was at a charity event in Rio, and if he was to tear his ACL, do you know how much that could have set back Milwaukee's franchise? Even if they're keeping him, you got to find a way to.
Well,
because events like this are happening. We're seeing things like this where the big time athletes are out doing stuff more and more, and it feels like guys just don't have any care whether they get injured or not while these are happening because they don't expect it to happen to them, which is fine. But you got to give yourself a little bit of insurance here if you're these teams.
Well, I think a lot of contracts
they have insurance
sports,
on them, yeah,
but they also have I know in the NFL there's a non-football injury clause that if you're put on the non-football injury list, they don't have to pay you while you're on the NFI.
That's where I'm about to go. This would have technically been a basketball-related injury. It was on a basketball court. Where does that fall under that clause? Because Giannis has that in his contract, where if it has to be a non-basketball-related injury. This would have technically, he had a basketball in his hand. He was on a court.
Yeah.
He just happened to be in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil.
Well, that's for the courts to settle. I mean, I think a lot of the high-paid stars have these clauses built into their contracts where hey, if you are riding a motorcycle at 100 miles an hour and you snap your leg in half, we're not paying the balance of the contract because you were engaged in risky behavior. So I think that already exists. This is just a weird situation because he was actually playing basketball.
See, this is where it gets into sticky territory.
I'm an owner of the Packers, so I got to take the side of the big franchise.
No, no, actually,
Corporate Dan.
Yeah, this is
everybody
where,
calls him that.
This is where the whole he had a basketball in his hand, so it's technically a basketball activity. No, it's not, because in your contract, when you are in the NBA, a designated basketball activity is playing in an NBA game, practicing for said NBA game, training camp for said NBA basketball team that you play for, or in an NBA World or NBA Cares related event. Those are basically the four circumstances that they consider basketball activities. If you happen to go to a charity event and they're like, you're one of the best basketball players in the world, we're going to do this on a basketball court and we're going to give you a basketball and let you play basketball in front of all of these Brazilian children.
Here's the thing.
It's not technically a basketball activity.
If I were...
But yes, to answer the original question, there should be some sort of insurance that NBA teams can truly.
If I were anywhere close to the caliber of lawyer that Bob Williams is, this would be my argument. If Giannis Antetokounmpo is doing a autograph signing, is he not an ambassador for the Milwaukee Bucks? So wouldn't that technically be a basketball-related activity because he's doing it on part of the basketball franchise?
The argument his camp would try to make.
That's where I would go.
The argument that the Milwaukee Bucks would make is, no, you're not.
So
absolutely not.
See, I think it would be the other way around. I think the Bucks would make that argument. Dan, what else we got?
Sadly, noted rock and roll enthusiast and owner of the Indianapolis Colts, Jim Irsay, passed away earlier this month. Or late last month. I can't remember exactly when it was.
Late last month.
Now, his daughters will be taking over his ownership stake of the Indianapolis Colts. Buy or sell, this is the right move to not sell the team.
I think this is the right move, and I think this is really cool. I think it's cool they get the opportunity to do this. I think it's cool. We've seen so many different guys come out and say great things about Jim Irsay on the Pat McAfee show and different outlets. The fact that this family gets to keep the ownership of this team, I think it's a really cool look.
Yeah, I think they should at least get to decide what happens, whether they want to keep the team and run it, or whether they want to sell it, or turn over the day-to-day ops to someone else. I think that he built the thing. Right, it's his baby.
Well, I thought Peyton built it.
I think it only fair that his kids get to decide what happens next.
Dan?
Indeed. Scotty Scheffler and Bryson DeChambeau. They are the betting favorites for the U.S. Open this weekend.
That's a golf tournament.
Buy or sell, they should be the odds-on favorites.
I mean, listen, Scotty Scheffler is the world's number one. I think he should be the betting favorite in everything that he does. His short game is good enough to put him at the top of this list. Yeah, I absolutely think they should be.
Yeah, I do. It's certainly not Rory, the way he's been playing lately. Doesn't look like he's in good shape. But, stranger things have happened. I mean, guys play terrible in the week leading up to majors and then win the thing all the time. It happens more often than you'd like to believe that's possible. But Scheffler and DeChambeau, yeah, I have no problem with them being the favorites.
Yeah, same here. Zero problem with Scotty or Bryson being the betting favorites to win this U.S. Open. It's going to be an interesting one. Historically, Memorial is the hardest golf course to play in all of golf. We're gonna touch on it a lot this week. Oakmont, not Memorial. Memorial is the last one that Scotty just won.
Yeah, he already won that one, dude.
Yeah, I'm already just thinking of all the wins that Scotty's had so far this year. But last time a tournament was played at Oakmont, only 4 cumulative 72-hole scores were under par. And under par was 4 under, 2 under, and 2 people tied at 1 under. So this is going to be a rough tournament. There was already a video. Bryson DeChambeau has gotten in a quote-unquote YouTube preview of the course. Went out and he played it with his caddy and a local Oakmont caddy on his bag. And let's just say it's going to be a good U.S. Open if you don't like low-scoring golf.
Well, that's where I worry about Bryson a little bit, is because he can get wild, right? And in a course that's this tight and is this hard to play from the rough, he loves to like bomb and gouge. That's his style.
Yeah, he's a hammer boy.
Yeah. So
with shoulders like that, you got to be.
It's like you worry about him if he's not able to keep it in the fairway enough. What happens then?
Yeah.
That's where you worry about Bryson at this course.
That, and the one that always worries me is, I mean, this is the golf course that made everyone say, all right, we need to have a stim rating system for all these greens, because there's on the 3rd hole, it basically just slopes all the way down back into the fairway. You can drop a ball.
My worst nightmare.
You can drop a ball from knee height and it just slowly starts picking up speed and just rolls completely off the green. So if
you don't like downhill putts, congratulations, you'll never have one.
You don't stick it, it ain't staying.
We got one more.
Yes, we do. 86-year-old Dick Vitale, aka Dickie V, has just signed an extension with ESPN. Buy or sell that it was deserved.
Absolutely. And I know we talked a lot about Lee Corso and his retirement a couple weeks ago. Dick Vitale still got it. And he doesn't have the fastball necessarily, but he's definitely got some stuff left to it. And I think it should be his call when he chooses to walk away from ESPN.
Yeah, I just never been a big fan of Dick Vitale. The shtick was never my thing. Like, I respect his longevity.
You hate old people.
And the way he's like, look, he's had a great career and he's done it his way, and he's a singular personality. It just isn't for me. So happy for him that he gets to keep doing what he very obviously loves to do. When you don't do something until you're 86, if you kind of don't like it. So he's obviously very passionate. It's just the style, not really my thing.
I think it's well-deserved. Yeah, Dickie V is one of those people that come college basketball season, even if it's a minimal number of games and a minimal contribution that he is able to make to this season, I think it's up to him when he wants to hang up the hat and say, it's been a career and it's been a day.
I will say this. I think they did this for his last year. I think we're going to get the news that Dick Vitale is going to do one last season, and they had to get him under contract to do that. And I think that's why why this deal got done today.
Also, contrary to what John just said, I grew up on the Dickie V shtick, and it's actually what made me fall in love with college basketball.
So terrible takes.
I loved the yeah, baby.
Yeah.
Dick Vitale's Duke Blue Devils are currently in a barn burner with the Racers right now for trying to punch a ticket to the College World Series, as Murray State giving Duke, all they could handle out of the diamond, bottom of the fourth, Devils at the plate as one goes back, and gone. The Duke Blue Devils now have the lead to try to punch their ticket to Omaha 3-2. We'll keep you up to date on that. All that going on as well. Check out this segment tonight for buy or sell at SoundCloud.com/after-hours1620. It was brought to you by Controlled Comfort Heating and Air. Did you replace your furnace filter this month? Are you saying to yourself, Jimmy, why would I do that? It's June. You still have to do that in the warmer months. And if you didn't know that, you probably need a maintenance appointment set up with Controlled Comfort. Head over to ControlledComfort.com, work with Tony and the team, have them come out and set up a routine maintenance appointment where they check out your HVAC system, make sure your furnace is working, make sure your AC is ready to go, and you have peace of mind about your AC this summer. Check out ControlledComfort.com for more details and to set up an appointment tonight. The Hockey Corner has patiently been waiting for the stools to be pulled over to it. It comes up next. Hey, everybody, it's Jimmy Allen here for Bob Williams. You heard us a little bit ago talking about the House settlement and how we wish we were a lawyer the caliber of Bob Williams' ilk. You don't have to be a big entity like the NCAA to work with a lawyer the caliber of Bob Williams. All you have to do is head over to WilliamsLawLLC.com tonight. Maybe your son or daughter is facing a little bit of heat and getting a little bit of trouble in this summer already, and you don't want them to have that life-long-altering issue hanging over their head. You can have that settled by Williams Law. All you got to do is head over to WilliamsLawLLC.com tonight. Have Bob and his team give you a free, no-obligation legal consultation. They'll sit you down, explain your rights, walk you through the process, and get you ready for yours or your son or daughter's big day in court. Check out WilliamsLawLLC.com. Get a free, no-obligation legal consultation tonight.
Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV News Watch 7.
Partly cloudy, breezy, and pleasant this evening with the temperature around 70. Mostly clear tonight. We should drop back to near 53 for the low. And then mostly sunny and turning much warmer on Tuesday, late day high of 88. I'm Chief Meteorologist Bill Ranby from KETV News Watch 7.
Hello.
Angela, we have to break up.
But why?
Because you're a robot and I'm just a guy trying to get better internet.
It's Allo Fiber, isn't it? I always knew you wanted faster speeds. My contract isn't good enough for you.
Face it, Angela. They let me talk to real people.
Press 4 to break my heart. Oh, wait. You already did.
Visit allofiber.com to switch today.
Did you know that Bellevue University is making a major investment in its athletic programs with a new $25 million athletic center? This state-of-the-art facility will feature multiple practice and competition courts, a modern 6,800 square foot sports performance and fitness center, an advanced golf simulator, and a new lounge area for our student athletes. The athletic center will open in early 2025. Come see the future of Bruin athletics. Schedule a tour, meet with other athletes, and explore Bellevue University for yourself. Visit BUBruins.com.
When you shop local, you help strengthen our community. So if you need roof repair, gutters, siding, even windows, call Local Pyramid Contractors. They're the #1 roofer in Omaha for more than a dozen years. Let Pyramid Contractors come and give you a free estimate. Give them a call at 402-502-9300. That's 402-502-9300. Or visit them online at
PyramidRoof.com. Never settle for less.
Did that trash or recycling truck roll by your house without stopping again? Hi, I'm Megan with Papillion Sanitation. At Papillion Sanitation, trash and recycling is our passion. From residential to commercial, we've cleaned up Omaha and surrounding areas for more than 30 years. So if your home or business needs reliable, friendly trash or recycle service, check out papillion-sanitation.com today and see how our customer service and professionalism can't be matched. Head over to papillion-sanitation.com to upgrade your trash or recycling service today.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I
Got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Criminal, civil, personal. If you or a loved one is facing a lawsuit, let Williams Law represent you and your family today. With more than 20 years litigation experience in Nebraska, Williams Law will defend you with the dedication you deserve. If you're facing a DUI or if your son or daughter has been accused of a crime, Williams Law is here for you. Call 402-522-6317 to get a free, no-obligation consultation and to get the representation you deserve today.
You are listening to After Hours with Jimmy Allen on 1620 The Zone.
Time to play the game!
7:21 on a Monday night here on 1620 The Zone, brought to you by Pyramid Contractors. If Pyramid Roof has ever worked on your house, do your windows, your roof, your gutters, your siding, you know they do it all. Head over to pyramidroof.com and vote for them to be number one in Omaha again this year. Dan Campenden, John Schreiner.
Hello.
It is time for Dan and John's Hockey Corner.
Time for the Hockey Corner. Pull your chair over to this side of the lounge. It's well lit. It's a corner nonetheless, but this is the Hockey Corner as Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Finals just about to start. Florida and Edmonton tied at 1 apiece. And Dan Campenden, Jimmy Allen, if Game 3 is anything like Games 1 and 2, your boy's going to need a new pair of shorts.
Just put it in my veins.
My goodness. 2 overtime games to start the Stanley Cup Finals. And it has been just wildly entertaining hockey. Like, you could not have asked for a better start to hockey's championship series.
Well, and take the scores out of it, right? 5-4, 3-4, overtime, double overtime game. The passing in this series, like Connor McDavid could make a whole highlight of his career just out of the last 2 games. Like the puck movement has been incredible through these 2 games.
His speed with the puck, like, it's only rivaled by Nathan McKinnon. He is so fast when he gets the puck on his stick. Like, he just blows by people. And I've watched him play for years, but every time I see him, I'm like, God, he is so fast. It's unbelievable. It's surprising every time you see it.
Well, and it's kind of exactly what we've said so far as our Stanley Cup preview that we, have had throughout the Hockey Corner, is that it's the Panthers are going to get underneath your skin, play some really strong defense, and the Oilers are going to take advantage of the fact that they are fast, they are finesse, and they're just going to tick, 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 and chip away at you all throughout the game, because Florida has been the team that's actually been scoring in bunches in this series so far, for the most part. We did get that, was it 3-goal explosion out of them, but when they, in that double overtime game, when all hope seemed to be lost and the Islanders put it in with, what was it, like?
Oilers.
Same colors. Who cares?
It was like, there was like 48 seconds left, maybe something like that.
I can say, I know it was under a minute. I physically stood up on my couch and I was like, oh, I'm really glad that Mary's not home right now because I'm going to scream.
Well, and if the Panthers win this series, like, might as well give the MVP to Brad Marchand right now, right?
Well, he's been really good. As much as I don't care for him, he's been very good. And to your point, Dan, I think that Edmonton has held up physically better than we probably expected.
Yeah,
they've matched the physicality. They haven't matched it by any means, but they've matched it well enough.
They've handled it.
Yeah.
They've managed it.
Right. That's what they didn't do last year.
Yeah, is the one thing that we can say for them in comparison to last year that they're doing a lot better is when things are getting chippy, Edmonton is allowing themselves to get pulled down into the chippiness a little bit and at least put up a bit of a fight and to show that they're not willing just to back down. Whereas last year it felt like, all right, we get tied up, and kind of always seemed like Edmonton was waiting on the back of their skates saying, all right, well, the ref's going to be over here soon to break this up, right? Right?
Yeah.
This year it seems like, I'm going to say mid first period, we're going to see someone come to blows.
And like Edmonton, if they're going to win this series, like they have to have power play opportunities. That's where there's so much. That's where they can beat Florida, because Florida's very good defensively 5-on-5, but that Edmonton power play is so nasty.
Yeah,
like if they can get more power plays in this series, I think they win.
We're not even a minute into this game already, and Edmonton's got 2 shots on goal already with less than a minute into this game. Like, this is what we do with sports. We make comparisons, right? But you know what this kind of feels like? Kind of feels like the 90s Bulls against the Bad Boys Pistons, where you've seen it once, and now the athleticism, the speed, and the overall skill is maybe outweighing the physicality and the brutality on the other side.
Yeah, it's a good comparison. I like that one.
Well, yeah, so this is going to sound like such an odd thing to say, but it's the hockey corner, so it's not weird whatsoever.
There's nothing weird in the hockey corner, Dan.
The one thing that I was most impressed with on Friday was the fact that Florida knew how to extend their clock a lot better than I would ever in the regular season have given them credit for. The way that they were clearing and dumping the puck into just into the zone and saying, you know what, no one really needs to go out and get it. Oh, already on the board, Florida.
A gritty down low smashed in goal.
Just what I was talking about, the shots on goal by the Oilers, the Panthers with their first shot on goal, bury one in the net.
Brad Marchand.
Did he put it in?
Yeah.
Oh, God. Told you people are gonna like him a lot.
All right, stand up, push your chairs in. We got to go downstairs for a minute. We got to go down to the NBA basement because that series also tied up at 1 game apiece, and Oklahoma City drops the first game on their home floor. They give Tyrese Halliburton, mama, there goes that man. It's been his playoffs. He's been the absolute superstar of this entire run throughout the entire playoffs, whether it be on the east or the west side. I don't think anybody's had a better story about than Tyrese Halliburton, from the interaction with his father and Giannis to the game-winning shots. He hits another one in game 1. The Thunder miss a free throw that could have absolutely iced the game. Tyrese Halliburton goes down and hits an absolute dagger of a shot with 9 seconds left, and the Pacers win game 1. With that being said, Dan, that team on Sunday was scary.
Yeah,
I don't think we've seen that version of Oklahoma City this season until that game.
No, the pure just
they were on a mission.
Record.
Yeah.
The game records that are the Oklahoma City Thunder. Like, their defense and their scoring have been just off the charts for the majority of the regular season, because we can't put it beyond them, like the fact that they are a 68 win regular season team.
Yeah.
They are extremely good at basketball. But the defensive performance that they put on, especially in the first half last night, was unrivaled by anything that we've seen out of them this season.
If you can keep getting 20 out of Alex Caruso, it could be a long series for the Pacers.
They were forcing turnovers like mad in game number 1, and they basically just cranked that up to 11 last night.
If you're Indiana, the thing that's probably got to be terrifying about game number 3 is not only did you lose last night by 15 points, all 5 of your starters scored in double digits, and you still lost by 15. And Dan, to your point, like Indiana was keeping up with the scoring pace, but they just couldn't keep the ball in their own hands. And if Shea and those guys and Chet could continue to turn over, and probably Jalen Williams maybe more than anybody, if you can keep causing the turnovers at that high of a clip, you don't have to score points. I mean, yeah, it's great that you scored 123, but you don't have to if you could just keep the ball out of the other team's hands.
So you still back in Indiana?
Yeah, I still think Indiana wins it. But I like, with that being said, basketball is a game of runs, right? Yeah. If Indiana goes on a run, listen, it's back in Indianapolis now. So they win these 2, they're up 3-1 heading back to Oklahoma City. So it's going to be interesting to see how they only get 1 game. Yeah, so yeah, they'll have to win 2 more. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it shakes out. Brian Munson from Husker Online and On 3 joins us next to talk about the exciting weekend that was in Lincoln. If you missed this segment, check it out at soundcloud.com/afterhours1620. It was brought to you by Jerry Ryan Clothing and Sportswear. Hey, it's wedding season. If you have a big day coming up, maybe it's your biggest day, you want to be the best dressed guy in the room, there's only one place to stop. It's 78th and Dodge. Jerry Ryan has your options for everything you need for your wedding adventure. I got my wedding suit at Jerry Ryan. Dan got his wedding suit at Jerry Ryan. If you want to be like the best dressed guys in the After Hours Lounge, stop by 78th and Dodge. Tell Dan, John, Monier, the tailor that we sent you over. They work with Jake and Deanne. They'll get you fitted and ready for your big day. It's Jerry Ryan Clothing and Sportswear. They've been dressing Omaha for over 50 years. Brian Munson breaks down a 7-on-7 showcase when we come back. 1620 The Zone.
Best dressed and best fed, folks. Dan Campion here for Pepper Jack's Grill to once again remind you that the steak gunner Philly with all the vegetables, including that jalapeno juice, is the only way that I get my Pepper Jacks. And of course, the new onion rings, cheese curds, all the new sides at Pepper Jack's have been wonderful. I have been experimenting with their sides lately, and let me tell you one thing, I have not been disappointed whatsoever. So if you want to be just like the gentleman of the After Hours Lounge, why don't you go to Pepper Jack's tonight?
Look, your Philly's lonely. Your burrito? Begging for backup. Your rice bowl? Needs a hype crew. Enter Pepper Jack's new sides, gooey cheese curds, crispy onion rings, and jalapeno poppers with just the right kick. It's the flavor squad your meal's been dreaming of. Because let's be real, you deserve a little deep fried joy. Pepper Jack's. Grill loud, snack louder.
Pepper Jack's Grill. Famous Phillies and so much more. Pepper Jack's Grill.
Did you know that Bellevue University is making a major investment in its athletic programs with a new $25 million athletic center? This state-of-the-art facility will feature multiple practice and competition courts, a modern 6,800 square foot sports performance and fitness center, an advanced golf simulator, and a new lounge area for our student athletes. The athletic center will open in early 2025. Come see the future of Bruin athletics. Schedule a tour, meet with other athletes, and explore Bellevue University for yourself. Visit BUBruins.com.
When you shop local, you help strengthen our community. So if you need roof repair, gutters, siding, even windows, call Local Pyramid Contractors. They're the #1 roofer in Omaha for more than a dozen years. Let Pyramid Contractors come and give you a free estimate. Give them a call at 402-502-9300. That's 402-502-9300. Or visit them online at
PyramidRoof.com. Never settle for less.
It's golf season, and Jerry Ryan is your one-stop shop to get out on the links this summer. With options from Johnny O, Roan, Peter Millar, and Mizzen and Main, you'll be the sharpest dressed guy in your foursome. Stop in and let John, Dan, Jake, Deanne, and Monier the tailor get you ready for the golf outing circuit or your big wedding this summer.
At Jerry Ryan's, we bring out the best in you.
Criminal, civil, personal. If you or a loved one is facing a lawsuit, let Williams Law represent you and your family today. With more than 20 years litigation experience in Nebraska, Williams Law will defend you with the dedication you deserve. If you're facing a DUI or if your son or daughter has been accused of a crime, Williams Law is here for you. Call 402-522-6317 to get a free, no-obligation consultation and to get the representation you deserve today.
Now back to After Hours with Jimmy Allen on 1620 The Zone.
It's 7:33 on a Monday night here on 1620 The Zone, brought to you by Pyramid Contractors. Over a decade of being #1 in Omaha, they can't continue to do that without your help. Head over to pyramidroof.com and vote Pyramid Contracting #1 in Omaha again in 2025. Brian Munson from Husker Online and On 3 has had himself a busy 2025, and it just picked up after this weekend. Munson, how are you?
What's up, boys?
How busy have your fingers been over the last couple of days?
Well, I just got the Brian Bonner story up about 5 minutes ago, so pretty good timing. And I have got my Ryan Moret to write up tonight. Let's see, what else do I have? I have Hayden Ainsworth to type up. Yeah, the fingers are working well, and I'm hoping not to develop carpal tunnel.
Hey, over 250 visitors in Lincoln this week and 9 official visits. It sounds like it went well across the board. In your opinion, how does Nebraska take this momentum from this weekend and continue to build on that over the summer and into the fall months?
Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, let's start with the official visitors. The thing that really kind of stands out to me is Nebraska has brought everybody in. This was at least everybody's second time coming to Lincoln this last weekend. So there wasn't like any kind of first timers, on the list that had not seen Nebraska before. It was kind of another brick, so to speak, when it kind of comes to building the relationship, becoming familiar with, all those things that you kind of need to have happen. I think that I think the listeners and you guys and I would agree, it's really tough to kind of commit to something that you're only seeing like one snapshot in time.
Yep.
You've not been to a game. You're only going to go there and spend 2.5 days. They happen to be, part of like the most temperate months, that you're going to possibly get a chance to get there. It's you want to have another look at it at least once and potentially more. And you want to, it's really kind of gotten away also like from what is like the real strength of the Cornhuskers, and that is a game day visit, in the fall. So now you're doing this stuff in the summer and you're really trying to find your best way to kind of substitute everything for not getting those players up there for a game day in some cases. And they're getting there in February for a junior day. They're getting there in the spring for a practice or a game. And then they're coming back again in the summertime in June for an official visit. So I think the biggest thing is now is, you want to start adding some players to the class. You've been pretty stagnant in the 2026 class. 2027, 2028 group, huge weekend as well. The huddle, orientation that was going on this last weekend, the summit, 20 players, in town in Lincoln taking part in that, including 2027 quarterback Trey Taylor.
Oh, is he a big deal?
Yeah, he's a little bit of a big deal. Yeah, I'm talking to him and his dad tomorrow night too to get some stuff together, pull for 3 and out, and then. You got all the 7-on-7 and all the camping that goes on. Heck, Nebraska offered 3 2028 quarterbacks today. Ooh. It's kind of the same thing I think that we all kind of saw, last year kind of playing out again, with Nebraska, where they're just kind of throwing it out there. Who wants it? Come get it. It's like one of those deals. So yeah, very, very busy. Lots of storylines going on with the Huskers.
Do you have any inside info on how it came to be that Cam Newton was one of the 7-on-7 coaches for this event?
I do not. I mean, convenient, obviously, because with him being a former player or Carolina Panther, but
yeah,
I don't know how that really kind of came to be. I would say this. Obviously, Cam is involved with a 7-on-7 team that has some sort of an Adidas sponsorship. And Adidas is really the basis, I think, for why everything kind of got pulled together the way that it did. You had to be really kind of an Adidas sponsored team, and it's kind of being part of that network. And that's, I think, going to pay some huge dividends for Nebraska down the line, because it sounds like it was a very well-run operation. I think that people got out of it what everybody kind of hoped they would get out of it, and that was take a look around, see the facilities. You don't see people on horseback anymore, so understand that there's a civilization there in Lincoln and in Nebraska in general. And, kind of put to bed, some of this stereotypical stuff that still comes up. And, now, I mean, I've been covering for 26 years, and it never fails that people think that they're coming to the farm, when they come visit Lincoln. And it's just one of those things. It's just a recurring thing. People don't want me talking about it. Nebraskans don't want me talking about it. How do you not talk about it when it's been a recurring theme for 26 years? They got to get the stereotype updated and get it removed. I mean, this is how you do it.
In those 26 years, am I your favorite colleague?
You're up there. You're up there.
That took a minute.
Yeah.
Well, nobody believed that. Thanks, Brian. Hey, a guy that's getting a ton of love this week, and more than I am getting on this radio show right now, was Keith Williams. He's now the senior director of player personnel. How has he really affected the way this coaching staff is able to recruit?
Yeah, I mean, when he was on the road, he was effective. When he's there in Lincoln, he's incredibly effective. I think he is a very personable, guy that you can put boots on the ground, and whether it's into a high school or, helping host, the recruits that are there, or helping out like with an event or with the summer camps. I think he's capable of doing all those things. I think it starts with his love for Nebraska. I think if you had a chance to kind of talk to him, I think you would pick up on it really, really quickly about what makes him great at doing his job is that he believes in the school. He believes in the area. He believes in the program. And obviously he believes in the coaching staff. So I think it all kind of starts there. And the fact that, he's a former player, a guy that's got some pro experience under his belt, guy that comes from, the Midwest, a St. Louis guy. So I think all those things combined make him incredibly effective when it comes to doing his job in Lincoln.
I wanted to ask you about a couple of players who made some headlines this weekend. The first one was Ahmad Hudson, the tight end, who looked really good from the clips that I saw on the football field, but also got a basketball offer from Fred Hoiberg. He's a guy who's expressed interest in playing two sports in college. Is Nebraska going to be willing to afford him that opportunity, do you think?
It sounds like it, and it sounds like, for Hudson, at least at the moment, and everybody has to remember, he's a 2027 number one rated tight end. He's like a top 20, like power forward, all according to On3 rankings. At the moment, if you go to his Twitter feed, it'll say at the very top, like, these are my intentions. This is what I want to do. I want to play both sports in college. Not a lot of guys have a lot of success at that. Yeah. And I think you can kind of set out to do those things. And I think even like a school can be accommodating for you to kind of do those things. And I think it's kind of happened in a way like with Connor Booth. Booth kind of set out to do both baseball and football. I think that he got kind of rocked when it came to like the numbers game that's kind of going on with the program in baseball. And I think also, it's kind of difficult because football is so much like a year-round kind of sport. When you go from like off season into summer conditioning back into the season. So you may have those intentions. And I think that coaches can ultimately kind of come up with a plan on how they're going to share a player essentially when it comes to the time of the year. But usually when players set out to do that, being a dual sport player, you never seem to kind of get to the top of your game in either one. It's tough. It's very tough. You never realize your full potential in either one. That's really the wording I was looking for. So usually, sometimes it settles itself, or it kind of needs to work its way out. And I do believe Nebraska is intending to kind of allow him to chase that dream and see how well he can kind of deal with it. But I think we would all agree it's a tough road ahead of him, and it's going to be difficult for anybody who wants to try it out, no matter how talented you are. And he's a very talented individual.
And the other one is the guy you just spoke about. Your story up right now on Husker Online. You can read about Brian Bonner's visit, the Santa Clarita, California running back, who was hosted by Emmett Johnson this weekend. Running back's been a big topic of conversation around here. Nebraska didn't add anyone through the portal. They're looking at 2026 guys. Bonner he says he's got Nebraska high on his list. What kind of player is Bonner?
Well, he's a speed guy. I mean, and that's what I think Nebraska really needs to add to the room. I think they need to find a legit, speed guy that can kind of turn the corner and get upfield, and a guy that can still like do the things, be effective catching the football. Obviously, don't have to leave the field if he has to get into pass situations, but pass blocking situations. But I think they're looking for a game breaking, running back, and I think Bonner is about as good as they get when it comes to that. So I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens with him, because as I break down in the story, he takes his fourth and final official visit that he has scheduled this weekend to Penn State. And there is still plenty of time in the month of June. And, he's not ruled out taking additional official visits. And he kind of thinks maybe like in July or so, like he might be able to come up with a decision. it's going to be kind of fascinating to watch to see if he does take something the last couple of weeks of the month, and if what happens then in the month of July, if this is something he decides to kick down the road, or he finally does decide to go ahead and announce his commitment. So keep an eye on this one. I think it says a lot that Nebraska brought him in the first week, and they do have other running backs lined up for each of the next 2 weeks.
Brian Munson from Husker Online on 3 joining us here on After Hours. Brian, obviously we saw a ton of official offers go out this weekend as well. How is this coaching staff able to kind of navigate the waters of we have a Trey Taylor in 2027. We also have roster restrictions. We've also got to manage the transfer portal. You're going to get a ton of people interested in Nebraska because of Dylan Raiola, because of Trey Taylor. How do they manage those numbers and kind of keep them in line?
Yeah, I mean that's tough. You gotta be going back to your board and figuring out where what about your board do you like? What about your board do you not like? You have to have some idea what the class size is going to be, maybe on average, kind of moving forward when it comes to your graduates that are in a class based on eligibility, or maybe factor in some attrition that goes on top of that. So you have to have some sense of like how many guys you can take in a class. And I think that you can kind of factor at quarterback. It's much easier. It's just one, right? It's just one every year. That should be really the number you're kind of trying to hit every single season. Offensive line gets a little bit more complicated, obviously, because you start talking about, well, if it's 2 or if it's 4 or if it's a full kind of, collection of guys, like what it seems like they're kind of aiming for this year. So a little bit different there on the offensive line. It kind of matters about how things kind of develop. I think what gets to be really difficult, and this is kind of what I think maybe where you wanted to kind of also go with your question and my answer. I think the part there too is that, there's going to be constant reevaluation once those guys get into Lincoln. The 105 has to remain competitive, and you have to have guys in there that are, scratching the surface at really getting on the field, or guys that are kind of in the top 2. And if you got guys then that are, 2 years in, not a factor, not doing special teams, I think things get really tough to keep justifying, those guys. Like they're going to have kind of this make or break kind of moment. And then you're going to have really tough conversations, I think. So I think, and I think what's really crazy too, is that a lot of these guys now, it's kind of becoming the norm for guys to graduate early, get to college early. So they're in January, they're going through the entire first calendar year in their first season. And you're already having kind of those exit interviews in December. I mean, right. That is tough.
That's Brian Munson from Husker Online and On3. Check out all of his work at On3, at HuskerOnline.com, as well as follow him on Twitter at Brian Munson_Munson. We appreciate it. Thanks for all the insight. We'll catch up with you next week.
Later, guys. We'll see you.
If you missed Brian's segment, check it out at SoundCloud.com/After Hours 1620. It was brought to you by Paul Davis Restoration. We all know that storms are coming. It's just a matter of time before they roll into your neighborhood in multiple ways. They could be affecting your house. Call Paul Davis today at 402-553-0373. If you're affected by seasonal storms, whether it be mold, whether it be water damage, maybe the house next to you has caught on fire and you've got to deal with that smoke damage, Paul Davis Restoration can help you out with all that. Again, phone number is 402-553-0373. Work with Paul Davis tonight. It's time for Papillion Sanitation. Trash takes the night. The other side of the break. 1620 The Zone.
Look, your Philly's lonely. Your burrito? Begging for backup. Your rice bowl? Needs a hype crew. Enter Pepper Jack's new sides, gooey cheese curds, crispy onion rings, and jalapeno poppers with just the right kick. It's the flavor squad your meal's been dreaming of. Because let's be real, you deserve a little deep fried joy. Pepper Jack's. Grill loud, snack louder.
Pepper Jacks Grill. Famous Phillies are so much more. Pepper Jacks Grill.
24/7 threat monitoring, expert tech support, streamlined communications. Allo has a solution for that. Protect your business with Allo Business. Comprehensive firewall security, Microsoft Teams voice-integrated communications, cybersecurity and IT support managed by experts. From productivity to peace of mind, Allo has a solution for that. Allo means business. Protect your business by visiting allofiber.com/business.
The temperatures are rising outside. Don't let them rise inside. Controlled Comfort is your go-to for all things residential and commercial HVAC. Schedule an appointment today to get your AC checked out before summer gets here. Don't forget to make sure that your filter gets changed too. Head over to controlledcomfort.com and get the details on their annual maintenance plans today.
For all your home and business needs, Control Comfort is here to please. Control Comfort keeps it under control.
Did you know that Bellevue University is making a major investment in its athletic programs with a new $25 million athletic center? This state-of-the-art facility will feature multiple practice and competition courts, a modern 6,800 square foot sports performance and fitness center, an advanced golf simulator, and a new lounge area for our student athletes. The athletic center will open in early 2025. Come see the future of Bruin Athletics. Schedule a tour, meet with other athletes, and explore Bellevue University for yourself. Visit BUBruins.com.
When you shop local, you help strengthen our community. So if you need roof repair, gutters, siding, even windows, call local Pyramid Contractors. They're the #1 roofer in Omaha for more than a dozen years. Let Pyramid Contractors come and give you a free estimate. Give them a call at 402-502-9300. That's 402-502-9300. Or visit them online at
PyramidRoof.com. Never settle for less.
Life is unpredictable. With seasonal storms and plumbing issues hiding around every corner, you can't predict the future. So when life happens, go with a trusted, reputable company like Paul Davis Restoration. Fire, water, mold, or storm damage can all be restored by Paul Davis Restoration. Don't live in the aftermath of tragedy. Restore your home today. Call Paul Davis Restoration at 402-553-0373 today.
There's never been a better time to choose a new career path than right now. Hi, I'm Tracy with Papillion Sanitation. If you're at a point in your life where you want a career, not a job, Papillion Sanitation is the place for you. From 401k options to opportunities for career advancement, come make Papillion Sanitation your future. Check out papillion-sanitation.com today to apply and make a change for the better. Papillion Sanitation, equal opportunity employer.
Hy-Vee turns 95 this year, and Chesterman Coca-Cola is giving you the best prices on all your favorite Coke products now through the end of May. Powerade 20-ounce 8-packs are just $5.99. Coke 12-pack flavors like Pib, Fresca, and Fanta are also just $5.99 starting May 12th through the summer. And Coke 1.25 liters are just $3 for $5. Catch some baseball, wish Hy-Vee a happy birthday, and drink your favorite Coke products to celebrate.
Now back to After Hours with Jimmy Allen on 1620 The Zone.
It is closing time inside the After Hours Lounge, brought to you by Pyramid Contractors. If Pyramid Roof has ever done any work on your house, whether it be your roof, your windows, your gutters, your siding, you know they do it all. Check out PyramidRoof.com tonight and vote for them to be #1 in Omaha again in 2025. It is time for our Papillion Sanitation Trash Takes of the Night. What we will do is the three of us will each give you a hot take to wrap up the show. We'll post it on Twitter. You'll vote for who had the best take. Whoever receives the fewest amount of votes will have the trashiest take of the night. I'm going to go ahead and start us off because we all know how much I hate telling you I told you so. We all know that, right? I'm going to say it now so I can say it again at the end of the year. Drake May is not an NFL quarterback. I don't care what the reports are coming out of Pat's camp. He's not going to lead the Patriots back to the playoffs. He's probably not going to lead the Patriots to a above 500 record this season. I don't think he's going to lead the Patriots out of a top 5 draft pick this season. I have zero faith in Drake May. I think he's washed before he started, and I'm going to be telling you that at the end of the year this year.
Yeah, I think you're wrong. I think Drake May's got something.
Yeah,
but we'll see how it
bad
plays
football
out.
talent. That's what he's got.
Listen, uniforms in professional sports, they suck. Especially the American version of professional sports. These leagues sign contracts with one uniform provider.
Thanks, Fanatics.
And Fanatics is the worst of the bunch as we're watching the uniforms here in the Stanley Cup final. I hate that the entire league has the same uniform supplier. There's no incentive then for the uniform supplier to do something innovative, to do something fun and crazy and wild. In Europe, in the major soccer leagues, each club has its own uniform provider. So that provider is incentivized to make something that sticks out, that makes fans want to buy it, that is bold, that is different, that is a trend-setting thing. We don't get that in the U.S. What we get is league-wide, no fun, standardized uniforms that I hate. Let the teams find their own uniform providers and let them make something cool. Because right now, it's boring.
We were having this discussion off air earlier, and the first thing that I thought of when you brought that up was like how much it felt like the UFC kind of fell off after the Reebok deal. Like,
yeah,
because it lost everybody's uniqueness, kind of lost their creativity, and I think that's what made the UFC special at that time. Dan, trash take? As he puts a period on the show.
I have to say goodbye.
Bye, Dan.
Not to the two of you. Damn. Well, I mean, we can make that happen. It's not that hard. All I have to do is take off these headphones and walk out that door behind me.
Hey, the show's over, so you can do. Now would be the prime time to do it, Dan. Thank you for your service.
Does John know how to start the closing bed? So that would be the real question.
We'll just push all the buttons till it turns off.
I unfortunately have to say goodbye to one Jair Alexander. We were unable to rework his deal as the Packers. I say we, being Mark Murphy and Brian Gutekunst,
and
the people
partial owner of the franchise,
who partially do that deal. And I never thought this day would come. I thought the 2 years of the injury bug biting into him and all the surgeries and all the staying out of camp and conduct detrimental to the team, I thought all that would have been swept under the rug after we didn't get a draft day trade for him. But unfortunately, they were unable to rework his contract, so his cornerback services are no longer needed in Green Bay. I'm going to give any other team out there a hint. Did a great job of covering Justin Jefferson for 4 straight years.
That means he's going to end up in your part of the woods if he gets signed by somebody. I don't know if you want to be giving that information out, Dan.
There are quite a few people who need a good cornerback. Jair Alexander is, unfortunately for Packers fans, going to thrive in someone else's system, as he very well thrived in ours.
That has been the show. If you missed any of it tonight, check it out at soundcloud.com/afterhours1620 was brought to you by Allo Business. Is your company not dealing with a managed service provider that's giving you the answers you need? Do you have TV questions? Do you have the cybersecurity you need? Are you getting the voice solutions that you were promised? If not, you need to head over to allobusiness.com where you're going to sign up for your services and you're going to deal with a live 24/7 in Nebraska customer service representative that gets you on your way with a managed service provider that gives you the answers you need tonight. Check out allobusiness.com for more details. For Dan Camden and John Schreiner, I've been Jimmy Allen. Happy National Strawberry Rhubarb Pie Day, everybody. Easy for me to say.
Take out the rhubarb.
The temperatures are rising outside. Don't let them rise inside. Controlled Comfort is your go-to for all things residential and commercial HVAC. Schedule an appointment today to get your AC checked out before summer gets here. Don't forget to make sure that your filter gets changed too. Head over to ControlledComfort.com and get the details on their annual maintenance plans today.
For all your home and business needs, Control Comfort is here to please. Control Comfort keeps it under control.
Ready to make a positive impact in a young boy's life? Join Big Brothers Big Sisters of the Midlands and become a mentor where you are matched up with a boy in the greater Omaha area. Over 50 boys are waiting for someone like you to guide and inspire them. Visit mentoromaha.org and sign up to make a difference in a boy's life. Don't wait. Make a lasting impact today.
Life is unpredictable. With seasonal storms and plumbing issues hiding around every corner, you can't predict the future. So when life happens, go with a trusted, reputable company like Paul Davis Restoration. Fire, water, mold, or storm damage can all be restored by Paul Davis Restoration. Don't live in the aftermath of tragedy. Restore your home today. Call Paul Davis Restoration at 402-553-0373 today.
It's golf season, and Jerry Ryan is your one-stop shop to get out on the links this summer. With options from Johnny O, Roan, Peter Millar, and Mizzen and Main,